I gotta admit, I was very concerned on how the first episode of Fate Apocrypha would be, since I found out A1 Pictures was going to be animating it. To my surprise, once the episode finished and, the credits started rolling, I was pretty fucking hyped. And I was like, damn, I'm willing to admit when there was a good episode. When I watched a good episode, I'm willing to admit it. And I gotta admit, A1 Pictures, you did good work. Now, the first part of the episode, it was kind of a little bit it was good, but there's some parts about it when it came to the action, all that, it felt like they were trying so hard to make it look like Studio Ufotable, but, in reality, at the end of the day, they're not, which is fine. I mean, I don't expect every single series to be at that level, and I think, A1, they shouldn't try to be at that level, but it's nice, it seems like they're trying to, at the very least, show that they're putting in the extra effort for, this Fate series that they're animating. Regardless, though, one of the big things about this episode that truly got me hyped, I was on the fence when this, the episode first started. But then, as it carried on, I got even more into it, and I found out about the information of where this is taking place, to what's going to be happening in this Holy Grail War, and then when we get to the final scene with, the summonings and all that, and you see Mordred pop up, and then just say the exact same lines as the Saber we all know and love from Fate Zero and Fate Stay Night say, "Are you my master?" And she says it in one of the most aggressive ways, and I'm like, yo, it's so good to hear that line from her character, after this character I have seen through fan art for so many years now. I have seen how this character looks very similar to Saber, basically titled Red Saber. I've been excited to see this character animated for the first time, and finally, after many years of knowing about this character, not knowing the history, backstory, but just knowing how the character looks, and just know that this character is a little bit more of a tomboy than our Saber we know and love from Fate Zero and Fate Stay Night, I've been very excited to see this character. And when I heard the voice actor to the entire scene, the way it was delivered, it referenced the beginning of when Saber was first introduced, but she said it in such a way that was very aggressive. I'm like, I'm gonna love this character. I'm gonna fucking love this character. So, anyways, many are gonna be asking, I know there's probably already comments in the comments below the time you get to this point in the video. There's probably people asking, can I watch this Fate series? Do I have to watch, anything else to watch this series? Now, personally, I want to just be completely direct with all of you, okay? I don't know, because I haven't read the original source of this Fate series. I've went into Fate Stay Night, Fate Zero, Fate Khalid, and all that, Karno Kyokai. I went into those, but I've never touched this series, and especially Fate Grand Order as well. And I mean, I did watch an OVA a while back, but I don't know much about the other Fate series, so just want to give an FYI. But from what I have seen, after, watching Fate Stay Night, reading the visual novel, actually watching Fate Zero, and then also watching Fate Khalid, I can say that it doesn't look like this series, or this first episode, spoils anything too drastic, or anything like that. So, I believe that you don't need to watch anything or read anything before you start this series. So you could just walk into this series and just start watching it. You could just play the first episode. Now, I just want to give an FYI. Once again, this series is in a very similar situation to how other series of this anime season is, or similar to Little Witch Academia from last anime season. As you remember, Netflix, they had the rights to, Little Witch Academia, so there was no official source to watch this on a weekly basis, so you had to go out of your way to go find a fan subgroup to actually watch it. For instance, if you want to watch the series episode by episode, you're going to have to find your own way, because right now there's no official way to watch this series, and unless you want to wait 3 or 4 months for Netflix to finally add, the series to their website. If you're willing to wait a couple months, then go for it. It'll be eventually out on Netflix, probably with a dub, but if you're wanting to watch on a weekly basis, there's no official way to actually watch it at this time, so most likely there's not going to be any set schedule for this. So for instance, you know how the episode came out today on Sunday, next week the episode might come out on a Saturday, it might come out on a Monday, Sunday again, we don't know. There's no set schedule, since we're going to be having to rely on fan subgroups to actually, translate this series, which I'm very thankful, translators are willing to go that far to do that for us. It makes me very happy. I'm just giving an FYI. If you're wondering where to watch this, or how I watch it, just there you go. I'm just giving you that information. So anyways, getting back on topic though, This Fate series, what sets it apart from the others I have seen is definitely the whole premise of it. Now, I think everyone, even if you haven't watched Fate before, you most likely know of the general concept. The Holy Grail War, servants like heroic spirits from the past and all that, legends coming in to fight each other in one certain timeline. For instance, all people, like let's say King Arthur or something, and Alexander the Great, coming into our timeline and just battling each other. That's basically what Fate has always been about. That's what, the general premise of everybody probably knows, even if you don't know much about Fate. And so, this premise of this is kind of different, because normally when it comes to Fate, it's usually 7 servants summoned by the Holy Grail to compete, and all the masters are on their own side with their own servant. For instance, they compete, and the last master standing with the last servant or whatever, basically they get their wish fulfilled by the Holy Grail. And so that was the main objective of, let's say, Fate Stay Night or Fate Zero. Now, this series is similar in certain ways, but it's different. See, like I said, there were 7 servants in the main series, but this one, instead of 7, there is 14 servants being summoned. Now, this is the thing. With 14 servants being summoned, apparently, it's actually going to be like a team-based Holy Grail War. So it's going to be 7 servants versus 7 servants. That is fucking awesome. Like, that's legit awesome. So we're going to see servants throughout history, like different legends and stuff, coming together, fighting together to take on the opposing team. And then here's the catch, though. The final team remaining apparently has to fight each other. Then they do their traditional Holy Grail War. So let's put this in perspective. Let's say the servants from Fate Zero and Fate Stay Night merged into one, like, series, okay? And they all 14 of them were summoned at once, and they would compete and fight. Like, the Fate Zero team was on one side, while, the Fate Stay Night team was on their own side. They would go at each other, and then the last one standing, which side standing, would then have to fight each other. So, let's say the Fate Stay Night team, they stayed alive, and they destroyed Fate Zero's, servants. That means the Fate Stay Night servants would then have to fight each other and their respective masters. So, that's kind of the concept here. So, it's like an extension to the Holy Grail War that we already know and love from the original series, which is really cool. So it's like an extra layer added on. Now, I do wonder exactly what will eventually happen, because, I mean, with masters working together, servants working together, and eventually they're having to fight each other in the end game, I wonder how that's going to make some of them feel, having to turn against each other. That's definitely going to add for some interesting dynamics between the masters and the servants. And then on top of that, too, I mean, you got to factor this in. Let's just say, both sides are fighting, each 7, let's just say, like, as they continue killing each other, maybe the side left standing only has 2 servants left. That could be a possibility for the result or the end game of this series as well. Maybe only 2 people standing, and it's not going to be all 7 servants going at each other at the end. So, like I said, really cool stuff. I like the premise of this new Fate series. It's definitely different from what I know of, and I'm excited. I mean, so far, it met my expectations and surpassed my expectations, because honestly, I didn't really have that high of expectations. No offense. I mean, I love Fate. I fucking love Fate. I mean, I bought the entire BD set behind me. I own basically everything of Fate. I love Fate. But the thing was, is I was a little bit on the fence about this one, because A1 Pictures, when it comes to action series, they love to skip out on some world building and, info dumps and stuff. They love doing that. That's stuff they do. Now, I'm not saying they can't make a good series, because they do make some good anime. They make some really good anime. They have in the past. I know of it. I've reviewed it. It's great stuff. But basically, I was just curious on how they would handle Fate. And so far, from what I have seen, from what I'm aware of, it looks like it was a very good first episode. I see a lot of praise. Many are coming in with it saying it was really good, and I see many anime onlys as well, such as myself, saying it was really good. So just overall, I think that overall the general consensus with the first episode, it was a very good adaptation. So yeah, I recommend it. It's definitely one of those series that could have possibly have been either one of the worst of the season or the best, and now it seems like this is a potential best of Summer of Anime 2017, because it's Fate, obviously, and you know how Fate is. So, let me know your thoughts. How do you all feel about this? How do you feel about this series being animated? And all of you original source readers of this series, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'd like to hear what you guys have to say. And since this is taking place after the 3rd Holy Grail War, that means that we're going to get to see some evil heroic spirits. I'm pretty interested in that. I'm not going to go into too many details. I don't want to spoil anime onlys or people that haven't read Heavensville or hasn't seen the movie yet, which is not necessarily out. We had a new trailer, which I've actually yet to get around to watching that trailer. I need to actually watch the Heavensville trailer. But that means we're going to have evil heroic spirits, since this is after the Third Holy Grail War. We also saw Waver in this episode, which was really nice. I was surprised to see Waver, and judging by his age and all that and his status, it seems like he still has the status of what he would have gotten after Fate Zero and what he had in Fate Stay Night. So, it seems like he still has his status, even though the Fourth Holy Grail War never really happened in the first place. That means that Kuritsugu never did anything with, Kirei. So, it's interesting, the timeline of this. Set in a different dimension or a parallel world, that's basically where this is at right now. It's like the Fourth Holy Grail War never happened. Instead of the Fifth, the Fourth never happened. So, it's like we're seeing Fate Zero. That's kind of how you could look at this series. It's like we're watching Fate Zero, but a different parallel world. There you go. So, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I love you all so much. You have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.